Welcome back to the Occult Rejects. Today we got two people joining us. We're joined by Marcella Kroll and Adam Smith, the creative team behind the Initiates Oracle, a forthcoming 40-card Oracle deck with a 128-page guidebook from Wiser Books, scheduled for release on May 4th, 2026. Marcella is an artist, mystic, spiritual teacher, and deck creator whose work bridges divination, contemporary art, and lived spiritual practice. Her site describes more than 25 years of work as a psychic medium, occult practitioner, and spiritual counselor, and she's known for decks and books, including Sacred Symbols Oracle, The Dreamer's Tarot, and Healing the Liminal, and more. Adam Smith is the illustrator behind Initiates Oracle. According to the publisher, he brings 3 decades of occult practice and more than 15 years of tattoo artistry to the project. And he's also the creator of the Hidden Veil Tarot. What makes this deck especially interesting is that the Initiates Oracle is presented as an occult, hermetic, and an Egyptian-inspired work, and both Marcella's site and her publisher describe it as being born out of a journey to Egypt, where the author and illustrator took part in the initiations of the Sphinx. The deck is framed not just as a divination tool, but as a guide to transformation, something meant to translate deep esoteric symbols into a practice that can actually be used in everyday life by both newer seekers and seasoned practitioners. That gives us a lot to dig into today: symbolism, initiation, ritual, artistic vision, occult philosophy, and what it means to make a deck that is both beautiful and spiritually functional. And that's why I'm excited for this conversation, because the Initiates Oracle sounds like it's trying to do something bigger than just give people another deck. It sounds like it's trying to open a threshold between image and ritual, symbol and experience, ancient, current, and modern practitioner. So today we're going to get into the making of the deck, the initiatory ideas behind it, the collaboration between writer and illustrator, and what both of our guests believe these symbols can still do in a person in the present day. So that's enough out of me. And Robbie, please let everybody know what is up with you and how are you doing?
Yeah, doing well, Nick. Thanks for having me on. This is definitely a topic of interest, and it's good to meet you both, Adam and Marcella. And I am R. Marks, artist and illustrator, and I'm big into doing symbolic research, color theory, all down the roads of these kind of occult, esoteric topics. And I'm excited to see where we can go. If anybody wants to check out my stuff, you can go to my Linktree, which is Linktree RMARX, and that'll pull up all my website, my Patreon, my podcast, the Meta Mindcast, and everything else. So, but yeah, thanks for having me on, Nick. And yeah.
Oh, of course, please. Thank you for joining me, Robbie. Appreciate it whenever you can make it. And Adam, sir, please let everybody know a little bit about you or anything you want to promote and this and that.
Well, I live in Columbia, South Carolina. I've been tattooing for over 15 years now. Yeah, you have to excuse me. I'm not.
I'm sorry, I was laughing at Sabrina actually because she showed up.
No, you're good. You're good. But yeah, I'm not real used to stepping out into the spotlight and everything. So
you know what? I still get nervous doing this, so it's quite all right.
Yeah. But yeah, that's really about it.
All right. I'm sure we'll get into it a little bit more as we go through. Marcella, please let everybody know what is up with you.
My name is Marcella Kroll. I currently live in Tucson, but I am an artist and a occult practitioner. I make decks, I write books, I consult on different projects. It's pretty awesome. I get to do this for a living. I feel like I get to be the person that I wish was there for me when I was growing up. But just really exciting to collaborate with Adam as a fellow magician. We got to travel to Egypt together and do a lot of ritual rites in the temples. We did our initiations of the Sphinx together, and we got paired up to be kind of I don't know, Adam, what would you call it? We were like the
I'd say like I've always kind of referred to it as like the pillars of silence.
Yes,
Are you talking about with the Isis ritual?
Yeah, we led the call. We led the guard to Philae, to Isis's temple at like I don't know, I think it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning in darkness,
Yeah.
in silence, you know, to be gatekeepers for that particular temple ritual. And
Oh, that is right.
yeah, it's pretty profound in that way. So yeah, anyway, I'm always in awe that I get to do this work and meet different people from all walks of life who get to carry their heart in this path forward. So
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for making it as well. And Sabrina, what is going on? How are you?
Always like 5 to 10 minutes late. I'm sorry. I'm like so bad at being on time. Also, I'm so pumped to be here because Marcella and I have known each other on the internet for like a million years, and we've never like shared space, like live moving on the internet. So like I'm so excited to be here and to hear about what you guys are working on and everything. I feel like people watching this probably already know me. I've got 5 books out, 2 podcasts, whatever. Google it. Sabrina Scott on YouTube, whatever.
Thank you. Yeah, when I remember, I think I even saw on your profile. No, when I was looking at her Instagram, I think it even mentioned that she was followed by you. So I was like, oh, Sabrina might actually find this interesting. She might come on this one. Thank you for making.
I love it.
Yeah. So I guess I do have a couple of questions, kind of like, ones for both of you. For people just discovering the Initiate's Oracle, how do each of you describe the deck in your own words? Maybe Adam, if you want to go first.
Well, what I would say is that the deck itself really takes the practitioner on the same journey that we were on. A lot of the artwork in it was stuff that was downloaded during the process, and even coming back from the trip, it was just like an ongoing surge of like imagery and symbols and stuff going on. So we're really kind of just hoping that we're able to share all that with anybody that picks up this deck, and makes them feel part of the journey as well. So.
Was there times that, like, this happens to me a lot? Well, I mean, not that like my shit's art, but I'll come up with ideas for like thumbnails and shit or whatever, logos. Is it like times, like I guess you were saying, like almost like downloads, where it's like you'll just get this idea that just pops into your head out of nowhere, and you have to like try to remember it. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. And sometimes I'll do little voice notes. Sometimes I'll do rough sketchings. And especially like you wake up at 3 a.m. in the middle of the night and just have this idea and have to get it out,
Yeah. That is cool as shit, man. That's awesome. That's sometimes what I think. I'm a big David Lynch fan, and I think sometimes that's what he was talking about. Like when you have an idea and you lose it, you almost just want to kill yourself or die. This is like I understand. It's just like, fuck, I'm not going to get that back because I didn't jot it down or whatever.
Yeah.
Cool. What about you, Marcella?
Well, it's interesting. So this is going to be my 5th deck, and typically with decks, I have 3 Oracle decks, 1 Tarot deck that I've made. I've done all the artwork and the illustrations for those decks. Coming together on this project, it was a seed that was planted there, and we had been talking about just the different things that are out there, because Adam has made his own self-published deck prior to this. And we wanted something that felt like, yes, anyone can access it, but for the person who wants to take things beyond just the like, oh, do they like me kind of readings, but someone that can actually use it in their magical practice, but also for their own growth as a magician, because there's so much of the same stuff out there over and over and over again. And even I did my first retreat this past February, and I used this deck to outline my retreat. So it's not just divination in the sense of I need to ask a question about my life. It's putting into practice like what things we could be working on in layers and applying them, to maybe everyday situations, but also through ritual. So yeah, it just felt very natural. Adam and I clicked from the go because we showed up, I don't know how many people were there, like 28 or something. I don't know. It was like definitely a number of people.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's like, oh, good. Another tattooed face person. And I'm like, great, yes, finally. But we really it just kept growing, the seed of the idea, to the point. And for me, creatively, that's how creative ideas come in. They kind of roll in and float by. And if I don't grab them, kind of like what you're saying, I kind of forget about it. But here's the thing. I think if an idea, especially a creative one, wants to come through, it kind of haunts you a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like it keeps popping up around you like whack-a-mole until you go, okay. I can't ignore this anymore. And the beauty of doing this deck together, because Adam's such a prolific artist and I love his work in that way, I was able to nerd out on the booklet, the writing, right? Whereas when I've done my other decks, I've made them more kind of keywords, jumping off points, like things that you're supposed to use your own brain, because a lot of people want it told to them. And I'm like, no, I'm not teaching you to read like me. I'm not teaching you to read like mimic someone else. I want you to use these things as a jumping off point. So they've been booklets for me in the past have been very streamlined, very, like I said, keywords or suggestions. Whereas this deck, we really get to look at the symbolism, particularly the magical symbolism, and dive deeper into maybe some stories around some of the symbolism that you haven't heard before.
That was awesome. Thank you. You kind of answered. I had another question. I was going to say, what made you choose Adam? But kind of answered it. I think. Thank you.
It was a kindred connection, like kind of right off the bat. We kept getting paired up, like not intentionally, but like the facilitators, just like when we would do certain rituals, like we would pair up in groups or like, and it was easy for us to like collaborate. And collaboration's hard.
Oh, I could have.
Yeah.
One thing I did want to ask also, why the word initiate? What does initiation mean to each of you beyond the cliche version of the term?
Adam?
I was hoping you were going to go first on that one. Initiate can mean, to me, a bunch of different things. You have initiations that you would go forth through with organizations and groups. You have them that you would go through on more astral, spiritual levels. So it's almost as if shedding skin, almost like this rebirth after you've gone through it, to where you're kind of, I don't know, it's real hard to explain. It's how it is a lot with even creating the images that I do with drawing. It's always real hard to kind of go into the process of it, but like it's all up there mentally, it's just hard forming it into words. But yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
I think of it as kind of, there's a next level of intention with that, because we're not just trying, it's like, oh, we're not just doing this weekend thing. I'm going to pull out my deck or weekend magic. There's nothing wrong with that stuff. I love kitchen witchery. I love easy access magic, but also there's something to be said about being more ceremonial, intentional, knowing that you're diving into a process that might take you on a journey, and it might be 3 days, it might be 3 months, you don't know. And I want people to understand that it's like the Abramelin, rituals, like it's something that you don't know, but you're committing regardless. And there's a sense of respect and seriousness to that, because I think a lot of stuff is sold to us, particularly with, the popularity of magic and witchcraft, on a more commercial level. It's like, how quick and fast can I do this? How convenient. Magic initiation's not convenient. It's uncomfortable, and it's euphoric, but you don't get one without the other. And I think the process with this too is to kind of say like, this isn't just like, oh my gosh, I'm going to bring this to, you know, Bev's baby shower deck. Like, I mean, that's fine if you want to, but like, it's not a lighthearted thing. Like, you're not going to get those quick fix answers. Sometimes it might help you if you have your own clarity. It might bring you that, but I just think there's layers and there's more than, again, like, it's rite of passage.
Yeah, no,
At
no,
least for me anyway. That's the way I relate to it.
when I was in the OTO, there was somebody that I did like all my initiations with. And I think like after the first, the second one, after like the initiation was over and everybody's like hanging out in the temple. I remember even my friend was like, you know, I guess like saying like, well, you know, why do, because there's a certain amount of time you had to wait between them. And he was like, you know, I guess bitching or just not bitching, but was like, why can't we just keep on going and, you know, doing more like, you know, blah, blah, blah. And they were like, you kind of like need to like kind of process or kind of understand what the hell you just went through, dude. Like they're like
breathing.
That's the whole point,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and it is a kind of a journey, I guess, in a sense.
Yeah. Integration is a huge part. We can't just keep going. You never retain what you've just processed, or you can throw yourself into psychosis. Like people don't understand that part of it. And, you know, Adam, you've done initiations, right? And different orders and things.
Yeah. I've done a few in OTO as well.
Oh, nice. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
93.
And yeah, even with path work in itself, with Kabbalah, you go through a whole series of initiations, you know.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, been through them both here in the regular world and in the astral.
If anything, I would like, for me, I even look back now, it's like I wish I would have I guess like you can't redo them. I mean, you could always go, like if I did my first, I could always go to somebody's and watch them do their first. I never did that. I regret that now because during, like, again, like even processing what's going on, I was like, when you're in that initiation, for me, I'm so focused about like what's coming next or like what's in front of me or what's going on that I never even really took the time to look around the lodge and look at all the shit that's even set up. Why is that there? Why is this there? Why is that all of a sudden there? I'm sure there's a reason for it, but it's just like I never even, you know, I don't know. I look back and I'm like, damn, I wish I would have like paid attention a little bit more before I left. But no, I definitely understand the whole initiatory thing is a very, it's not something to be rushed, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Did Robbie or Sabrina, did you have anything before I keep going?
I got but
go
Robbie,
ahead.
go for it. No, you go.
No, you
I'll
go
remember. I swear I'll remember. You can go.
So, well, I was gonna say in regard to creating these decks, right? I created a like a mystic kind of occult playing card deck, and spent you know, a good amount of time. Kind of you have the concept kind of coming into you and kind of, you know, congealing and coming into itself, and then it's the process of taking this idea and turning it into reality. And then you have to deal with you know, the reproduction as far as the printing process and like all the manufacturing and getting it, and so that you can actually get it out into the world and get that idea kind of moving around. Like it's as far as process, in the work of creating the idea, do you think it's like, is it in the ethos or is it something that you formulate? How do you kind of, what kind of inspiration kind of pushes you?
I
Well,
think there's a few things. What do you think, Adam?
Well, I was going to say, as far as creating the images with drawing, I'm strictly digital. Like I do all my stuff with Procreate. I used to do on physical paper, but I just wasted so much material. I always felt guilty about it. So a lot of times I just sit down and I just start sketching, and I don't even know where the finished product is going to go. And then sometimes even like getting far out there with all that line work done and all the shading, and then starting to add the colors, stuff just doesn't go very well, and then I have to go back and redesign it. So the way that I create it, it's probably not the best of ways, because I would think sitting there and kind of playing out the idea first would probably be the best concept, but I always like just going along for the journey,
Yeah, yeah.
So,
And it is
yeah,
really a journey. I mean, when you're
yeah,
participating with these muse energies, you kind of just let it, like you're kind of just watching the process as it,
it
you
is.
know.
It is. It's
Yeah,
almost the
yeah.
same as like when you're doing tattoos and you're like
Mm,
taking it from the stencil and putting it on the flesh, and then you watch it come to life on the
right.
body. It's just this really cool process that unfolds. So yeah.
Yeah. Now, go ahead, Sabrina. What were you gonna say?
I was kind of going to ask something similar, more around creative process, kind of from start to end,
Yeah,
especially a collaborative deck. Like as a writer and artist myself, like I'm kind of like, oh my God, I don't know if I could collab with another artist. I think my brain would
Yeah.
explode. But I just looked up, the deck looks stunning. And so I would love to
Thank you.
hear about that creation process from like original idea to how did you sort out what each of the cards is going to be, the structure of it, and then the sketching process. Like, I'm curious, did the art come first? Did the writing come first? Like, I just want to hear that whole process. It's so different for everyone.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
I would love to hear about that.
Yeah, thank you for asking. It's a great thing to noodle on. Because I am notorious for just doing everything myself.
Mood.
I
Like,
don't work well with other people, like collaboratively, or it's very rare, it takes a very special, connection to be able to do that, or in just artistically, creatively, and being in the same like speed, because I get impatient or I get in a zone or I'm not in a zone. And so there's that difference. Particularly for me, it was the process kind of took a while, but like not forever. I think the publishing process has taken a lot longer. But initially, Adam had a lot of the imagery first, but he would send me things, and I'm really good with wording, like coming up with names for things. I think like that's one of my jokes is like I just want to name makeup colors like nail polish. Like I like coming up with names and names for people. So I started coming up with a list of titles, like card titles, right? But then the images would lend to those titles themselves too, the more we got. So it was kind of this like back and forth that went on, but we did get a lot of the whatchamacallit, I got a lot of the imagery from Adam before I began my full-on writing, because I wanted to include not just, hey, this is what this means, but I wanted to include the origin of the different imagery and connect on that, the colors, the symbols, like everything is just, part of the process. So I would say it was pretty easy working with Adam. And I've recently worked on collaborations that didn't go anywhere because we couldn't get on the same page, where there was more fluidity with Adam and I. But I also think it's because we were on that initiation path at the same time. So we both had an understanding of the feel and the energy. Like, even though we live far away from each other, right? Adam lives in South Carolina. I was living in LA. Now I live in Tucson, Arizona the last 2 years. So, doing things also at a distance, getting on FaceTime, getting on phone, it was just kind of easier to do it that way. So, yeah.
I can see that too. It's the whole process of like getting together and collaborating is like, well, my opinion, if you had to jump on Zoom, it's a lot easier than possibly getting in your car, deciding where you're going to go. I can even see all that just making it a little bit easier too, depending on what type of person you are. Sometimes I can look for any reason to just tell myself not to do something. So
I think it requires a lot of trust in each other though, too. I mean, that's the thing with collaborating. You're trusting the whole process, with each other. And I think the only time the times, the reason why I've worked so hard for so long on my own was because I didn't have a lot of trust or faith that other people were going to follow through, or because there was no proven track record of it. And I'm like, well, if it's going to get done, it's going to get done. I self-published for 9 years, you know, as well. So it's like switching into a gear of having to collaborate with publishers. That's also a learning curve experience. And such a different process. I mean, Sabrina, you make so many beautiful things and have been doing this for so long as well. You know, like, I think you understand that, like, you're very prolific, right? So like having to get things on board and having to trust someone else to kind of come in, it can be daunting.
For sure.
So,
like, sometimes they don't get it as well. It's like the powers that be, by which I mean like publishers or institutions, like sometimes they just don't get it. So like there are some of those collabs that I've had where I was just like, all right, bye. I think you probably know what I'm talking about. But quick question for you, since you do have so many other decks out, like for those decks that you did solo, did the art also come first?
Okay. So Sacred Symbols, which is like the thing that kind of started it all, came to me. I mean, I was in the middle of a mental health crisis, but it was 2012 and I was like living in Pewaukee on like 18 acres of land in New Mexico. I had run away and I was having a mental breakdown, and I wrote the names down first and then the sketches and then putting it together. Right. And still, even then, I did all of the editing and the graphic design on an iPhone 3. Like, I didn't have skills for that, you know? And I just, you know, it's like things just started to, the more I learned on how to make it happen. And, but also trusting in my, you know, my like connection to my whatever guidance and all that stuff. Like, hey, like if this is supposed to happen, it's just going to keep happening. And if it's not, take it away. That's how I deal with a lot of stuff right now. You know, is even with the like, collaborations falling apart. I'm like, if this is something my ancestors would have flipped this table, take it away. I trust that. And you know, so it's a wild ride. I mean, and just no one taught me how to do this. And I think you have that understanding as well. Like, and putting out zines and books and being asked to consult on things and getting kind of like a bum deal because I didn't know better, you know. That's been an interesting journey. But now, you know, you learn to ask for more, you learn to take better care of the work that you're stewarding into being in the physical.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And publishing is so slow, but how long did it take you guys from beginning to end? With this,
it's been so slow.
So aside from the publishing being slow, like, was it like a year you guys were doing this project together? 2 years? Like, how long did it take you guys?
What do you think, Adam? It took us like we came back. When did we come back? We went to Egypt in December of 2022.
Like, I remember you posting those pictures.
Yeah,
and that's a while ago.
We finished the writing. Like, I finished the writing in the summer of 2024. But that's because when I came back from Egypt, I wrote a book. When I came back, like my Healing the Liminal book, I wrote that upon arriving back. And then I was like, okay, I can work on this once that happens. But then I moved. So 2024, the summer, we finished everything. But it's now, you know, 2020. It took probably like about a year or so to complete it for our end. Yeah. Oh, let's see. I'm just looking at the comments.
Oh yeah, did you see when somebody asked to see examples of the work?
Yes, that's what I'm looking at.
Yeah, for some reason I was like, I think she just caught that comment. That's why.
It's okay. I just caught it.
Just real quick. Fuck.
I know. Well, I pulled a card actually for today from our deck, from this, and I pulled Leadership.
Nice.
Yeah, which I'm really excited about. I mean, what I love about this card, it's Isis, right? Or Osset. is her Egyptian name. A lot of people think of Isis and they think of the story of her, retrieving these dismembered parts of her husband, of Osiris, of Osir. But one of my favorite stories about Isis is the way she was able to, be cunning. And she's the leadership card because she was able to trick Ra, the sun god. She created a serpent to bite him. And she's like, I'll help you, but, tell me your secret name.
Right.
And that is how she became, her leadership, her ability to connect with magic, all of those things. There's just so many stories that are hidden within, and that was one of the things too with us on our trip, learning the Neteru from the inside out, which is, the Egyptian pantheon, and learning their true names. It's really quite, it's been a real journey to work with each card too, as I got the imagery and writing about them and seeing what sparked intuitively for me. Not just this is the emerald tablet. This is this. It's like, no, what feelings got evoked. And that was really, Adam's artwork really evokes a lot of feelings.
One thing I did want to ask, what point did you know the deck's core language would be Hermetic and Egyptian inspired rather than broadly occult? I mean, was it
right away
because of the retreat kind of, or whatever you guys went to?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think because of the path that we traveled, and we went with 22 Teachings, which is a occult hermetic school in based out of Los Angeles, and Academy of Oracle Arts, which are based out of Nevada City. But knowing specifically the group we were going with, and those practices, we knew that would be the theme and the direction.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, this is the back. I also just am really excited. They gave us a pretty awesome, you don't really see this, but the booklet is full color.
Nice.
Which is rare in publishing. They don't always do that. So just really excited about the way it turned out. Like feeling it in your hands also is another trippy thing when you make something, to feel it tangibly. Yeah, like the weight, the texture.
I absolutely love the gold foil that they did on the edges as well.
Yeah.
Really goes well with the matte black.
Mine's a little worn because I've been using this. Is like the demo deck I got a while back when they sent us like, hey, check it out. So
and who was that again? That's from Wiser?
Yes.
Wiser.
Yeah, they actually they sent me some decks like a month or two ago from people I had on. And
nice.
it had the gold foil around it.
Cool.
And the cards are they're very good quality, I thought. So I'm assuming
nice way it looks like.
Yeah. That's
the nice stock.
Yeah, they do a good job. This is my first time working with them. I've really enjoyed working with them. They're a smaller publisher, which I don't think a lot of people know, but they've been around for a really long time. I also love that they're like New England based. I mean, they remind me of childhood, like going to like the little Wiccan stores when I was growing up, because there was only a few like magic spots in the 90s, like early 90s. You're going into some really interesting places, but so it's been really nice working with them because it feels more hands-on.
Nice. That's awesome. They seem really nice for that, to me, dealing with them. Like after the show, email and be like, "Oh, just to let you know, I had Marcella Kroll on. If you want to send me a free."
I sent them. They shared the thing, so maybe they'll. I can definitely get.
Oh, nice. No, I'm gonna remind him though. I've done that to him before. Like, by the way, I just found out this person published through Wiser. They're like, "Yeah, we'll send you the book."
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah. I'm so cheesy.
No, I love it. That's your Aries, right? You're like, reach out.
Yeah. Like, you sent me the books every time I have them on. Can I get another one? Oh, whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
What was there any images or occult symbols that was like already like you knew that this was going to have to be used when you had this idea?
Adam?
not really like pre-planned. Just
Okay.
as the cards started like being created and laying out, then the certain symbols just kind of seemed like it went with that particular card. Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely certain symbols that I was excited to see in form that I didn't anticipate. I was trying to find like where is it? It's like the lion eating the sun. There's definitely, oh, here it is, fortitude.
The green
Oh,
lion.
that is a sick
Green
card.
lion. I was excited to see that because I wasn't expecting it. But then, I love like there's just such a nod to some of these. I call them like their own characters. We have Tahuti, we have Thoth Tahuti here with like his two forms with the emerald tablet.
Oh shit! Look at that.
Yeah. And then there's like classic things, right? Like we have with banishing, right? We start to see more of the classic kind of idea of Hermeticism and Kabbalah, and just Adam's influence with that. But certain images too take me right back to some of the rituals, like this, literally the ritual card with Hathor, Hurt, but with the sistrum, because when we were there, we did a sistrum ritual on the roof of Dendara.
That is cool.
Yeah. So
I tried making one. I was big into Hathor for a while.
Were you? Nice.
Yeah. Yeah,
do you have a picture of it? You have your own sistrum that you made?
No, I started. I never finished it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
But no, I was big into her. And she has that in a mirror. She's known for.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, which I find interesting because that's basically sight and sound. Just start getting into it that deep, but very interesting. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Hathor actually.
Yeah, Dendara was incredible. Also, just because of the layers of the temple, like. There's parts where you go underground, and that's where I think, was it on Ancient Aliens? Do you remember, Adam? There's like this tunnel under the temple, so you have to crawl down, and you end up underground. And there's hieroglyphics and stuff, but there's this depiction of a battery, where they're, what I'm talking about. And there's like these giant figures holding it up, and then like smaller people. Yes. Yep. And there's such a, like, they're like, who made this? I think the thing that was so fascinating to me was you could touch things, most things you could touch. And obviously being respectful, obviously being mindful. I feel like because there was such an understanding of the reverence of these places, we were able to go into places privately a lot, which doesn't normally happen. And, we were able to do things that most people don't get to do. And I think it was simply because we came with, working with intention, respect, and offerings. Not just offerings of, hey, let's pay you money, but like offerings of prayers, offerings of respect, offerings of ourselves as vessels. And that felt really important. So.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah.
It's been a wild experience.
It was. I mean, I don't think I fully integrated. It took me maybe like a year and a half, maybe, to fully understand what happened.
Did you touch anything while you were there?
Touch anything? Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah. I mean, I was crawling on my
tile.
Are you kidding? Like, yeah. I'm like, I was crawling on my hands and I mean, there was a part where a lot of stuff you can't be if you're claustrophobic, it's not going to be.
You're screwed. Really? Okay.
Yeah, not going to be for you. I mean, it can be pretty intense, but there's also this part of me that's like, yeah, well, when am I ever going to get to do this?
Do that again, yeah.
So just get over it.
Now, when you mentioned that it's like kind of claustrophobic, was that I just might have some questions on this. Just made me think of something with the sacred architecture I've been covering lately. Was it like kind of like, was that like something that was made after the fact to get to where you were going, or was that like an original thing? Like, was it made to where you actually had to be crawling to get where you got? Was that a kind of an original message?
It was both. It was both, to be honest. In some places it was both. Like there's like I remember, do you remember the crypt we went into, Adam, when we had to go down the spiral staircase.
Yeah, that was like 50 feet down below.
Down, but like that was
Yeah.
created, man-made, right? To get in there, like that wasn't something that existed. And we all each one at a time like laid in this dead physician's crypt. But
Yeah.
that was created to get in there, but it didn't exist prior. But certain things like getting up to, I don't know, like getting up to the King's Chamber in the Great Pyramid.
I was going to ask about that.
Yeah, it's very narrow. It's not meant, people weren't meant to climb up in there, right? But they've constructed kind of like these rickety, they're not even like, they're supposed to be handrails, but they're just so shaky and you're hunched over, you know, just, you can't look up, you can't look down, you're going to get stuff in your eyes. But we had some wild time, like we were doing the LBRP in a lot of places, but like doing the LBRP at the top of the pyramid with a group.
You did it too, Marcella? You do the LBRP yourself too?
Yes. And we did it though.
Women that do. That's pretty cool.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Really?
Even in the OTO, there wasn't that. All the women did these. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, it was pretty standard. The first, like, we were doing it in many places, and I think there were certain places where it felt really amplified.
That's cool.
You know, but to be at the very top of the pyramid and then climb all the way down and then climb on hands and knees to get to the, I don't even know what you call it, subterranean portion of the Great Pyramid.
Traversing the underworld.
Literally going through the duat, like,
Right.
But my whole thing with that was I wanted to put offerings down at the base, at the, you know, in the pyramid. So you come out through, like you crawl, you go through, and then you come out into an more open area. That may have been intentional.
Yeah. See, the reason why I asked is when I was covering this stuff recently, we were recording it. There are when you start going from, especially in the dark too, it's actually wild. There's so many things that like going from a small area and then to a bigger area, you'll see that kind of happen. I forgot, it might have been a Karnak or two or something like that. Certain other Egyptian things I've even noticed it in, but that when you repeatedly do that, I don't know if they knew then, but it starts to actually make you focus in a certain part of your brain, and certain nerves start kicking in.
Yeah.
So is that all done on purpose? Like, again, is this a whole an initiatory thing going through all that?
All the mystery schools had those where you would be confined and then it would open into caverns.
Yeah, that will do something.
Flashing lights, all kinds of sensory, you know, and you are affecting the senses for the purpose of you know, rising the self.
Absolutely. I mean, and every place had some element of that. I even think us going in the middle of the night affected our senses in that way.
Sure, yeah.
When we went to Karnak, we went at, again, it was like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. And I remember walking through and having the wildest soul retrieval experience, like walking up, like through, there's like different archways. And I swear every time we went through the archway, like things would come back. And then we ended up in the time, like in the room with Sekhmet. I think Adam, it was you, me, and 2 other people, because we were going 4 at a time in the dark, like to go like make offerings. And it was very sensory, so quiet, but so loud internally.
Yeah.
You know, just it's, and then even being on the Nile, we were on the Nile for 4 days sailing. So that was this whole other sensory experience. There's so many different things.
As well, you even said the pillars and the way you walk through them. I even cover that too, that depending on how they're cut, I think if they're cut concave, like around, it starts to create reverberation off of them too.
Yes.
So like that's wild that you even said that you feel something every time you're passing them.
Well,
you do.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just going to say the hieroglyphics too, the way they're carved, they're not carved exactly at the same depth in every place because they calculated the sun. And depending on where the sun was at, if it's too deep or not deep enough, the sun would blurt it out.
Right.
Like, so if you're going around in certain spaces, you'll notice that the hieroglyphics are not carved at the same depth because of based on the location.
Right. And the type of mineral that they're using in the different places to conduct different types of energies that you feel as you
Yeah.
move through, these in that you see that worldwide as far as phenomena with these builders, ancient builder structures. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there were so many things. I mean, we walked down, what was it? Like, was it oh gosh, it's like Pathway of the Sphinx, but there's this road that goes from the Temple of Mut to Luxor. And basically all of the museums all over the world that have sphinxes in their collection have basically taken them from this place. It's kind of like, okay, like, but at one point there was all sphinxes down the whole way. And they actually did a New Year's celebration a few years ago where they traveled that road and recorded it. But we did that road in silence at sunset. And it was the most intense thing, because then the call to prayer started as well, because it's a Muslim country. So there would be these moments where you're walking and then the call to prayer would start and they're in silence and everything's reverberating and you're around these like, things just feel different there.
Wow.
Yeah.
I covered all that like a couple of weeks ago, man. I'm so jealous you went through that shit.
You gotta go.
I was even showing like the pathway with all the sphinx, all that
right.
shit. That is awesome. You got to walk through that. I thought that shit was so fucking cool when I was looking at it online.
You gotta go.
No, the Egypt's on my bucket list.
Yeah,
sure.
Egypt's on my list too.
Yeah.
So
Made
what
it to Italy.
is
So.
each of you guys to want to go and like do this whole thingy
Experience?
Because like clearly it's a big undertaking. It's like you're traveling somewhere, it takes forever, you're going to be there for a while, it's a completely different environment. Obviously there's a spiritual benefit to it, but it's still kind of a big undertaking. So I'm curious if you guys could both speak to what was the inspiration in terms of wanting to go, and why then, and all of that kind of stuff that led up to that decision to go.
Adam?
I mean, yeah.
I just kind of try to pay attention to what crosses my path. Egypt had been on my radar for a few years prior to that. And then all of a sudden, Naha dropped like, hey, we're going to take a trip to Egypt if anybody wants to go. So I instantly messaged her and started talking to her about it. It's definitely like, I didn't really know what to expect out of it because I had not met any single person on that trip in person, barely spoke to anybody, flew 18 hours to get there. So it was definitely a lot of, with me, overcoming a lot of my fears and anxieties and stuff like that. And then being able to lock up with a wonderful group. And so, yeah.
Yeah. And not, it's like, we can romanticize the trip all day long, but there's things that come with that, type of travel, and making sure you're traveling with the right people as well.
Yeah.
I've been obsessed with Egypt since I was a little girl. Like camels were my favorite animal when I was little. Everybody thought I was a weirdo. I used to make little Egyptian scenes in shoeboxes, like living in Rhode Island, where would like, why would I know about this, and always had a connection. My first tattoo is Isis. When I was 18, I asked her to be my mother. And there's just a lot of, there's always been a strong pull and connection. And I taught with 22 Teachings, which is Naha's school, as a guest teacher multiple times, and had done readings out of there. And I'd always had it on my list as a bucket list trip, but I honestly didn't think I would get there until maybe, if I ever got there, maybe in my 60s or 70s. And then, circumstance just happened to align. My grandmother had passed, and my last kind of person that I felt very tethered to, like, wasn't here anymore. And then that same week, Naha had put out that she was kind of curating this trip. And I just felt like I got to go do this. I got to do it now. You know, sometimes you deal with loss and you deal with it in different ways. You're like, you know what, like life's long and short. So let's figure it out.
Right.
And it just aligned. And, you know, and she was like, do you want to teach on this trip as well? I was like, teach in Egypt? Absolutely. Like, because we all got to bring our own kind of offerings. I was able to teach my timeline jumping meditation on the Nile twice, which was insane. But you don't say no to opportunities like that. And so it was really, yeah, it was something that when we were flying in, I absolutely felt like a sense of coming home in a way. Yeah.
That is cool.
Can I ask what was the hardest part about the trip for both of you?
Adam?
I would say like just the beginning of it, because as soon as I got there, everybody just kind of felt right together, you know. I was thinking earlier about, you were talking about the different rituals and stuff. Do you remember the very first one was at Osiris's temple down below, and the
Yes.
two people that were wandering around got stuck in the room with us and just jumped right into the ritual and just started
Yes.
participating with us. It was a mother and daughter. It was
Yeah.
so beautiful. But yeah, mine was because I was going to be traveling alone. I was going to be joining a group of people I've never met in my whole life. It was a lot of money to get there. I was going to be there for 14 days. So I was like, you know, what if you get there and all of a sudden you absolutely hate everybody that you're like, or not hate, but just not click with them, you
Yeah,
know?
right.
And I'm like 14 days and not being able to get in my car and just drive home because I'm done with it. It's a big thing to kind of overcome, you know?
I think it was
But I
longer
am,
than 14 days, Adam.
well, I think the trip itself was like, wasn't it like 14? The journey was 14, but then the
Okay. Yeah.
flight
The
was like
coming
a
and
couple
going.
days. Yeah. But yeah, it was a wonderful experience, and I'm grateful that I had an opportunity to go. Also, Marcella had prepped us prior by doing a past life Egyptian meditation, which was really, really insightful, and kind of made it where you kind of, like she was saying, like as soon as you landed there, you felt like you were supposed to be there, you know? So,
Mhm. Yeah, we did
yeah.
a lot of prep work, and I think that also helped. You know, we
Yeah.
met with one of our Egyptian tour guides, Mahmoud Kuder, who's amazing. He's a scholar. He teaches many classes, but he did a hieroglyphics class with us all, you know, a few months prior online, and he was like our main tour guide. And it was his boats that we were on as well. We also did a Netaru class with Isis Indri from Academy of Oracle Arts. I think the challenging thing for me, because at that time too, was I had to get on beta blockers because I have immense anxiety, and a lot of people don't realize that. I'm also autistic. I have a lot of kind of things, but I was like, I gotta get over a lot of this stuff, because this trip is bigger than my shit, essentially. And so there's a lot of preparation involved. The physical preparation prior, I actually worked with a trainer too, just because at that time I was like the best shape I was ever in my life, like getting prepped, because I knew I didn't want to miss anything, you know? So the prep was kind of grueling. Being there at times for me energetically was a challenge in certain places. There's a lot of aggressive selling. People are constantly trying to, you know, be like, give you stuff, like make you, it can be a little bit daunting. And that can be very overstimulating and frustrating.
I feel like people trying to put stuff in your hands already and asking you for money.
Oh, and then they're like, you owe me this money. They charge you for toilet, like literally for everything. You know, they're like, give me money, I'll give you toilet paper, you know. We actually had an experience, Adam. Do you remember this in the Aswan market? We
I do.
were allowed to go on our own for a little bit, but we're supposed to go together. And we had gone, there was like this girl I was with, and then, Adam was with us, but then she was taken off all over the place. My biggest issue sometimes is just other people, right? So like she took off and left, and like I bought a couple things from this vendor, and then I walked back, and Adam and I walked back, but like we're not supposed to leave each other. This guy came running out at me and started yelling at me saying I didn't pay him fully. And I know damn well I did. And he was trying to be scary. And as a woman, and like in that country, and like not knowing the language, I know a few words, but that was it. Fortunately, one of our other guides, he came out from behind a pole and he was like, starts yelling at him. And then the guy just started going, oh, forgive me, madam. Please forgive me. Please forgive me. And I was like, you're forgiven. It's cool. Like, it's good. We're good. I paid you. Go. And he started backing away. And then he like turned around, and then he turned around again and was like, madam, please forgive me. So I was like, Khalid, what did you say to him? He goes, I told him you were a witch and you were going to curse him. And I was like, oh God. But
I love that.
yeah, it was like, it was pretty intense, and I was like, yeah, okay, I'm a witch, but so it can be daunting on you if you have a lot of, you got to be with people who are strong. You got to be with people, meaning mentally, emotionally, you can stand up for yourself. It's, there's those aspects where it can be grueling. Also, Cairo for me was hard to be in a lot of the time, because everyone's like they're burning trash, they're smoking cigarettes, there's cars, trucks, animals, people everywhere. You're just like, I had a migraine at like one point that took me out for a full day, and it was the only time I missed anything. But they were going to a museum, and I was like, it's fine, I need to be able to get to the sites. I'll miss the museum. But and you got to be careful with what you're consuming. Right? Making sure you're taking like, the right enzymes and things like that, in case, not brushing your teeth with the water, like things like that you have to be mindful of. Also just be respectful. I didn't find it hard to be respectful. Like, I covered my head, and you covered my shoulders, my knees, like things like that. They're not anti like tattoos or anything like that, but it's just modesty. And there are some places obviously where it's more touristy and there's all kinds, but like, just be respectful. Like, would you want someone coming in your house being loud and obnoxious and going, this isn't vegan? Like, I get it. Like, these are things that are like,
that would be enough. Just kidding.
No, but like they would prepare. A lot of times there's like this kind of understanding of like, hey, we can do vegetarian, but we don't have this special stuff for you. Like, we have this, and you acclimate. You go with like you're I just think you're in someone else's house. You're in a different country. I think you need to be more open to
when in Rome.
Yeah, like you don't have to do everything they do, but
Right.
I just thought it was interesting because some people, how their expectations and specialness, they tried to take it with them everywhere. And it just, I don't know, I'm like, we're all humaning having this experience. Like, this isn't your show. Like, it's not, you're not the main character right now. You're literally like in another country for a ritual. Like, I don't know.
Like, honestly, like a trip like that, like it is all of that practical kind of logistical stuff that would be like my biggest kind of worry. Like, I've got so many allergies. Like, I am vegan, like, because I've got allergies. Like, I'm allergic to nuts. I'm allergic to this. I'm allergic to that. Like, my system is so delicate. So it's like, if I did drink the water by accident, like, I'm gonna be the one that's gonna be fucked up for sure, even if everyone else is fine. So how does everyone kind of deal with like all of that kind of logistical biology aspect? Because it's like you said, it's like some stuff you just can't get, or there's certain things like the standards are maybe different, the norms are different, but we all like our bodies are acclimatized, let's say, to like living in the West. Like, how do you kind of cope?
Absolutely.
with that?
Well, I will say it depends on who you go with as well. Like we had a really good guide and group. Like we were really supported and taken care of. And if we had questions, we could ask. They did everything they could to meet certain accommodations, especially for people who had, say, autoimmune and different things. But there are some things that you just can't predict, you know. But the, you know, for the most part, everyone is really like, you know, was able to advocate for what they needed, but also it wasn't hard to, because we had such a good, you know, people holding the container for us.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Was that their first
Yeah.
retreat? Like the folks who organized it, like their first one to Egypt?
No, well, Academy of Oracle Arts does twice a year. They do trips. It was 22 Teachings' first trip.
Okay.
Yeah, and Mahmoud he's been doing this for a few decades, like a couple decades. So he's very they know people. Yeah, they got it down. I think that's why we were able to also get into certain places with the way we were able to. Like they let us light incense in a temple that had incense lit in 200 years.
That's cool as shit.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Would you guys go back, do another one?
I mean, I would love to go back, but it's money, you know,
Yeah,
like it's.
sure. I knew somebody was doing like some sort of Egyptian retreat where they were going to all these places, and when I looked at the cost of it, I was like, "Fucking."
I actually don't even know how much it costs. I imagine it's a lot. But I have
honestly, for what we did and what was included, it wasn't a lot in comparison because somebody is. Oh yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure they're going back. I know that 22 is going back in 2027. But from my take of what I spent, I think it was like $1,200 for my round trip for my flight, and then the trip itself was probably, I think it was like $8,000, and then a little bit more. I think it ended up being about $1,200 or $12,000.
Right.
But your transportation's included. You don't have to worry about that. Your inner transportation throughout, because we're going by boat, we're going by bus. We were even taking interior flights to a couple of places that were optional.
That's cool.
All our, you know, most of our meals were included. Obviously, if you drink and stuff like that extra stuff was not included, but your basic meals were included. And to have someone taking care of all the logistics and getting you checked in and all of that stuff. Like they even had someone meet us at the airport when we arrived and walk us through and get our visas and like through customs. Like it was like we just walked through. Sure. So to me, that kind of, it ended up being, it was about 2.5 weeks total travel and all of the.
Oh, that's not bad.
So that's to me was worth it.
Yeah.
You know,
for sure.
Yeah.
I went to Italy for like 2 weeks and it was almost $10,000. So I mean, going that long,
wow.
I would do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you know, there are parts that are really like, I don't know, like someone mentioned in the chat about Agatha Christie, you know, and on the, you know, on the Nile, and you know, we got to stay there in Elephantine Island, and I mean, you just can't. You can't, like, I don't know, like that kind of experience, it's with me forever.
Yeah. And it's probably all the stuff that you've been reading about and kind of putting all your kind of quandary into, and then kind of the fruition of actually having experience is beautiful.
You glitched out, Robbie. Sorry.
Oh.
It's okay. I got it. Yeah, it was incredible. I think, but I definitely could see it being harder if there's other things to consider. Just because, you know, if again, dietary, autoimmune, or other things, you know, you have to take extra precautions. But I would feel like okay with them. Like I didn't, like if anything went wrong, like there were people that they knew what to do. Mm. Yeah.
Also, I'd like to add, they made sure that through certain parts of Egypt, we had police escorts and there was an armed
That's
guard with us at
Yeah.
all times. So
Yeah.
they made sure that our safety was took care of, and the places we stayed to were like very, very upscale places.
Oh, nice.
So I think Morgan Freeman stayed in one of the places. Prince Charles stayed in
That's the
another
Elephantine
location.
Island place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Mhm.
yeah, it was stuff that you probably couldn't set up if you were to make this trip on your own. So
That's awesome. Police escort sounds
yeah.
very fancy. I would
Oh, it was cool, and their
It was
police
pretty
is nothing
cool.
like their police is nothing like our police. It was like a truck in front of you with a guy standing there with a machine gun. So
A lot of
it was, it
AKs.
was
Oh,
yeah, it
yeah,
was
sure, yeah.
quite intimidating. Yeah.
Marcel, I'm so disappointed you didn't put that on Instagram. That's what I want to see.
I'm in Arizona now. I can post all the AKs you want.
Like joking, kind of not joking. Like I think
No.
like that's a cool aspect of it that I had no idea about. That is so interesting to see. Like that extra detail just
Yeah.
makes it so much more like real. And then that
Yeah.
dichotomy between like, all right, we got some cops on either side of us about to fuck people up if they bug us.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna go like light some incense and like be super. You know what I mean? I kind of
Yeah.
love that combination.
I know. Well, there are these moments where you're like, okay, one of the temple guards walks up and the sun is coming up. We've done our ritual. And I was like in full at Philae at Isis's temple. I like got dressed up because I knew. I was like, this is my mother. This is my thing, And this guy comes walking up. He's got his AK strapped. He's like, you look really cool. Like, I was like, thank you. Old Egypt. And you go like this. I'm like, okay.
It's funny.
Yeah. But so it's very like, you're like, wait, where am I?
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's definitely this appreciation for sure of getting the opportunity to do that and then to make something physical out of it. I feel very fortunate to oh, that's funny. Typical female behavior from William Dubs Welsh. Thank you, William. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, it was a good time and I feel very fortunate. And then to also have a really good collaborator like with Adam because it is so rare.
Mm-hmm. I did want to ask you maybe just a few more questions, a little bit about the deck before we wrap it up.
Sure. Actually, I've got another question before we switch to the deck.
Go for it.
Yes. So you said it's a Muslim country. So did you guys encounter any like Egyptians who were more interested in kind of the ancient Egyptian spirituality, or the Egyptians that you met like more kind of Muslim oriented, or like what was their kind of relationship to the extent that you were exposed to it, like with let's say the type of spiritual work that you guys were there to do?
I mean, there's definitely a love and a respect for the history of the ancient Egyptian culture by the Egyptian people. And there are a lot of people that are really knowledgeable about their history. And there's more of this. There is a big preservation element in the community. We met a lot of people who were doing restoration and more from a educational perspective. I really liked the way that it was more there was just a different, it wasn't just like, oh, this is just a tourist thing that they were capitalizing on. There's a genuine love and appreciation for the archival aspects of it. As far as there's also a big Coptic Christian community there. So like there's a few different things going on. Yeah. There's like a few different things. So it's not just all Muslim, like as far as religious kind of takes on things there. There's quite a few different.
The Coptics are like quite persecuted though, eh?
They are, but there's also, and then also the Amazighs. You know, people don't realize, a lot of people with the Amazigh community, they think they're just in Morocco or the, you know, Atlas Mountains, but the Amazighs also lived in Egypt at one point and were pushed out.
We should have a Coptic church not too far away from me. I was kind of surprised.
Yeah, there's a Coptic church right in Cairo. I think that was the first stop that everyone went. Like, they're like, check out the Coptic church, you know. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, I do feel like the majority is Muslim, but there is an interest in the, you know, more of the ancient religion. It's also a lot of capitalism there too.
What the hell was that?
I don't know.
Yo, it's like doing it still. Holy shit. You might have to maybe turn off your mic and put it back on, Marcella. Maybe it sounds like.
Okay. Well, I have an electronic issue sometimes too.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, I have like electricity thing with spirits and stuff. So we'll see. Yeah, it did sound like helium. It like repeated it back to me. It's someone's trolling me.
It was Armand.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
All right, let me
I do have a chipmunk in here. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to start with you, Adam. I'm going to ask this question for both of you. Is there one card of that deck that speaks to you the most?
I'm sorry. I'm having a lot of really bad audio on my part. Like, it's real choppy and high pitched that's coming through. So I apologize for like not interacting and stuff. One of the cards that I really like is, I forgot to bring my deck, but I do have the original drawings right here that I can show. So one of my favorite is the Polarity card, which I'm not sure if you can see that. And then also, I am a fan of how the Grounded card came out, which the inspiration behind that is the Middle Pillar Ritual.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
I love that ritual.
Did you have a favorite?
I love the Offering card.
Oh, yeah.
This one makes me really happy. You know.
Also, we were talking earlier about like little hidden things in there. If you kind of look at where the jewels are placed, it's where the spheres are on the Tree of Life. So there's a lot of those like hidden in the deck as well.
And I just like the principle of the offering too, as like a lot of times people think offering means something physical, you know, and sometimes when you show up as the offering, allowing yourself to be the vessel, like that's one of the highest kind of offerings you can share with the world around you. So there's just this really beautiful, I just think this like elevation in this understanding of what offering is, and not just being takers in the world.
I like that. Thank you.
Yeah.
What do you hope someone becomes after living with the deck for a year?
Hope they become, I think they become more conscious of things outside of themselves and their relationship, you know, how everything is kind of dancing with each other. And it's not like we live such a world that everyone's so self-obsessed. And I think yes, individual, like being an individual and knowing who you are is important, but how you function within the world around you is also important. And also having an awareness that more than two things can exist at the same time and be right, just having a deeper connection and reverence for themselves, and the world around them.
I like that. I think that's a huge part of magic, actually. Is learning how your outside situation stimulates you, really, or how you let it, or You know, I don't know, not to get into it, but it's just like, you have all these stimulations around you, and then everybody's going to have a different opinion about it. It's almost like you kind of chose whatever program or whatever you looked at or whatever you heard or whatever you smelled is going to make you feel a certain way that's different to somebody else. It's kind of like you take it on and pre-program that yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think that's really important to learn and start to control. What about you, Adam?
I'm having difficulty with my sound at the moment.
Yeah, sorry.
So I wasn't really able to catch most of that question. It's coming in kind of like a speeded up version of Chipmunks.
Oh, it's happening on your side now.
Yeah, yeah. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to probably sit that one out because I can't really hear. Yeah, I apologize.
No, that's good. All right. Then I have one. Sabrina, do you have anything you want to ask? I have one more question left.
I'm good.
Okay. So I guess for you, Marcella.
Okay.
What do you think is the most misunderstood? What do you think is most misunderstood today about occult practice and symbolic work?
That it's like demonic. Like, I mean, everyone's like, everything's demonic, or that's like, it's bad. I don't know. Like, I get very upset when people talk about Lucifer being bad. I think there's so many misconceptions based on satanic panic and all of that. Like, there's just, and I lived in LA for so long, like there's just so much stuff like fed through media, like even with witches, with diviners, with seers, with oracles, the occult, any of that, it's gone through this lens of like performance. And I think occultism is more than performance. I also think occultism doesn't have to be as serious. Like like some people get crusty and serious about occultism, and I'm like,
yeah.
Watch Family Guy, like loosen up a little bit, do something. Like there's yes, yeah, have fun with it, but be obviously have reverence. We're not making fun of it, but we're you gotta lighten up a little bit. I think sometimes people get very on their high horse about what's wrong and what's right. And I just think that that's the problem with a lot of things in occultism, magic, all of it, really.
I agree. That's awesome. Yeah, I think, I don't know if you've seen me post it, but sometimes every once in a while, I'll just put a post out that says it's not all dicks and demons.
Yes.
Yeah, and it shows like the eyeball, the painting. Yeah, no, but it's totally true. Certain, even in podcasting, just keep it real. In the conspiracy world where I used to kind of started, and it's very rough. I tried to educate them over there, but it was just like everything's satanic and everything's dick symbols. Like, fuck that.
Well, I think that's the thing. You just have to keep showing up and showing them that it's not, because telling people it isn't, most people don't listen. You just have to keep being an example.
The people accuse us of that. Oh, man, it's doing it again. Wow, the people who accuse us of that are the ones thinking about the demons and dicks more than fucking magicians are.
Oh, yes, exactly. I'm like, what's your fix on it? Right?
Yeah, but thank you very much. That was a fun interview. Even the chipmunks, that was even fun too. But thank you for both coming on, especially Adam. I knew you were nervous. You're not used to doing this, so I appreciate you coming on. And I like to be able to get
for having me.
Of course.
Yeah,
before we wrap it up, of course. Before we wrap it up and let you guys plug your stuff again, I'm gonna let Sabrina and Robbie, plug themselves. So Sabrina, what is up? Let everybody know where they can find your stuff again, please.
So my YouTube is Sabrina Scott, no M. Everything else you can find me under Sabrina M. Scott. So for anyone who doesn't know me, I've been practicing witchcraft for like 25 years. Same with tarot. I do this shit professionally, and I babble too much on the internet. Got 2 podcasts, The Secrets of a Witch podcast and The Heal and Harm Show. Nick has been on. It's a good time. So if you're interested in real shit, interesting conversations, depth of practice, feel free to check out my stuff. I've got 4 journals out, 5 books now, one of which has like been loitering behind me here. So yeah, I don't know. That's my shtick. Thanks so much for inviting me. Like I always love coming on, and so fun to hang out with you guys.
No, thank you for making it, Sabrina. And Robbie Marks, the storyteller himself. What is going on, sir?
Yeah, this was great. Thanks for having me on. It's good to meet all you guys. As far as my stuff, you can go to my Linktree, which is Linktree RMARX, and that'll pull up everything. And yeah, it was a great time. Thanks, Nick.
Of course, thank you. And I don't know, Adam, if you can hear me, but if you want, you can promote yourself.
Well, you can find me on Instagram. My username is AdamBombL13, and I always comment back and reply back to messages and stuff. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you very much for coming on, sir. I really, really appreciate it. And Marcella, please.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Thank you for having us. It was so good to see you all. What a surprise. It was nice to see you, Sabrina. Treat. And yeah, my website, my Instagram, it's marcellakroll.com or at Marcella Kroll on Instagram. The Initiates Oracle is coming out May 4th. It's up for pre-order now. Adam and I will both be flying to LA to do a deck signing at the Philosophical Research Society on May 9th, which is really exciting. And then on May 16th in Tucson, I will be doing a Initiates deck signing at Nexus Occult Bookstore and Oddity Shop here in town, which is also, just a cool spot. If you are in the Tucson area, say hi. And yeah, all my other stuff you can find like on my website or in my Beacons link on my Instagram profile.
Awesome. That's great. Good for you. Well, again, thank you both. And thank you, Sabrina and Robbie, for making it. And thank you, everybody in the chat. That's what's up. That's why I go live. And until the next one, everybody be well. Later.
Bye. Thanks.